Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Divorce Unplugged podcast. And today we have a special guest. This is part 2 of our special guest episode. I'm Nicole Cox. I am your co-host, and I am also known as the Family Law Liaison on socials. And I have a co-host.
Hey everybody, Keegan Burke. You probably recognize me as Divorceology on socials. My disclaimer is not an attorney, not legal advice, not giving you legal advice, open discussions around the experiences that we and others have in the family court system. And we are unpacking that every episode. And we do have a special guest that we've already had on to tell his story. And today we're going to dig into some of the questions that we have based on what he shared. But Nicole, let's start with your disclosure.
I do have, yes, a disclaimer, which is I am an attorney. I'm not your attorney. I'm not giving legal advice today. And Keegan and I are both coaches for people going through high conflict divorce and custody.
So let's set the framework for today's conversation. So we had Kevork on, and his story is one that you don't hear very often. But along the way, there are some areas that we, Nicole and I, have questions to better understand some of the particulars around how this could have happened. And I would say that even some of our questions aren't going to give us the full answer because it sounds like there are a lot of things that are questionable and afoot that we may not be able to explain. But at the very least, I'm sure that we all have some questions around, how did this happen and what is the current state? And so I guess the first question I have for you, Kevork, is as of today, your current state, are you able to see the kids? And if you are, and what does that schedule look like?
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. So, as you guys know, Labor Day just passed, Labor Day weekend. In the order clearly stated that as long as I give her 30-day notice in advance for the long weekend, that I'm allowed to be with my children as long as I fly out there.
Okay.
And I could only be with them Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and gotta give it back. That's fine. My ex-wife didn't allow me. So this Labor Day weekend was the first time ever that what I used to do is go hunting. It's dove hunting season, September 1st, everywhere. So I would go with my kids, my family. It's in our tradition. This year was the first time that did not happen because I didn't have my son and I didn't feel happy or comfortable enough to do so. Now,
Okay, let me interrupt you. So you gave 30-day notice, and she didn't comply with the court order?
no, she says she has plans for that weekend already.
Okay, well, everybody, there's one potential opportunity to raise an issue. Let's table it for now. But so I would say that her not complying with the order, with you giving notice, is definitely an area of opportunity. We'll table it for now, but that's amazing. So what else is in your schedule? So you get, let's say, summers. Do you get summers?
Yes, sir. 7 weeks.
7 weeks during the summer, unbroken, or does she get a visit in the midst of that?
So basically, in the order, it indicates that within those 7 weeks, a week after school ends, I could go pick them up. And at some point, she's going to notify me that she's allowed to have parenting time in the state of New Jersey if she decides to come in, but she needs to give me a notice as well. And this year, she texts me about 4 or 5 days before saying I'm coming to be with the kids. I'm like, what happened to the 30-day notice? For me, I have to give you 30-day notice. For you, you could just give me 4-day notice. And I'm like, you could have them. You're telling me now within 30 days you could have them. But I guess since that was the end of them being returned, she didn't come in. Another point is, let's just say I do go to California, right? Now, I have a total of 4 kids, 2 of which are there, and the other 2 are here. So you got a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I moved on. The moment she didn't return, there's too much fish in the sea. I meet a lot of people every day. You don't want to come back, that's fine. And those other 2 kids are attached to these 2 kids. So Vaskin wakes up in the mornings. I want Tallinn. I want Kevork. You know what I mean? They don't understand what's going on. They know they're siblings. They love each other. And with those 7 weeks of them being here, you're destroying 4 lives, not including me and my girlfriend at the now. You know what I mean? So we're all attached. So my girl loves the other two just like as if it's her own, if not more. You know, they're so attached to each other to begin with, and to fly out to California, which I did last year, right? She let me have them last year for Labor Day. Listen to this. So my daughter's dream was for me to take her to school. So I did it. I notified her saying I'm gonna come over there to take her to school. She allowed me. On her first day of school, she told everybody in the school it's her best day of her life. It's the first time that all her friends got to meet her father. The father was around. And Daddy, can you come again? Can you take me to school again tomorrow? You would think I'm 3,000 miles away. It's costing me almost $10,000 for the. I went there. Obviously, I wasn't gonna go there for 3 days, going all the way there. I stayed there for like 10 days. You would think that you will allow me to take my daughter to school for those days that I'm there across the country. Nope. She only allowed me one time. And guess what? Me, I was in front of that school every single morning and every single afternoon to let my daughter know that Daddy is here. So when she was dropping the kids off, my daughter off, she would push her through the gate. Daddy, Daddy, go in, go in, go in. Lady, I left everything behind and I'm 3,000 miles away so I could show her some love. My son, you'd not allow me, and she refused. Only one time.
Can can I ask what was why did you guys separate? Like she just went to California and didn't come back. Did you have relationship issues? Like
Yeah,
just give us
somewhat. Of December 31st of 2020, she was wilding out. So she has family in New Jersey. There is obviously 3 holidays back to back to back. There's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, and there's New Year's. So the first 2 holidays, she asked me if I could spend it with her family. Thanksgiving, absolutely, no problem. We'll spend it with her family. Christmas comes around. She wants to spend it with her family. Absolutely, no problem. You know what I mean? Now, New Year's came around. I want to spend it with my family. Out of the 3, you could have 2. I need to have 1. No, we're going to spend it with my family again. So what happens to my family? You know what I mean? I wasn't buying it. I wasn't letting that slide by. This lady wild out. I'm talking about it looked like I was attacked by a raccoon. All over. Her,
like physically attacked you.
physically, I have all the pictures from that day and all.
So
Did
it wasn't a mutually combative situation.
Yeah, it
did you
wasn't. It's,
fight
it's
back?
happy wife, happy life. Basically, there's no other way around it with her. So, if you don't follow her guidelines, you're basically out the door, and that's
Did,
what happened.
did you call the cops?
Oh, she called the cops after all that. Cause me, not gonna lie to you, after she was digging her hand, I slammed her onto the bed from behind. Cause she was digging through me in the back. I slammed her onto the bed. Cause I slammed her onto the bed. She called the cops on me. Maywood cops show up. Once she called the cops, she hung up. So they tracked it into the house. And when the door rang, I saw cops outside. I'm like, if I open the door, you're going to jail. I'm all dug up. You see, like, marks. So I'm going to go upstairs. You're going to go open the door. And you're going to talk to them. Otherwise, you're going to end up in jail. Because I'm physically hurt. There's nothing on you. She opened the door. She spoke to the cops. Saying that our daughter called in by accident. Blah, blah, blah. The cops took down the information. And they left. That's the mistake that I did. I should let her go to jail that day from the physical thing.
Yeah. Um, okay. So you went into her going to California with some unsettled waters, essentially.
Well, we made up afterwards.
Yeah.
So if you see, I have videos because I have cameras all around my house, all around my businesses. So I didn't go home on January 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. She wouldn't stop calling me, apologizing, showing up to my warehouse, begging me to go back home. All this is on video. Running outside with the baby, sitting in the front seat, not getting out the car. Please come back home. I went to the house to pick up my daughter, take her to the park a few times, which I have all these videos saved as well. And at the end, I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll give in. I'm going back home. We got 2 kids. It is what it is.
Here's another question. Were you guys married?
Yes.
a good question.
Okay. And back to current custody timeshare. So you have 7 weeks in summer. You have, it sounds like 4 days over Christmas break. You alternate Easter. Are there any other breaks that you get or alternate, like spring break or Thanksgiving holiday?
With Thanksgiving holiday is also alternation. This year I'm supposed to have them for 7 days, I believe. I stopped reading that corrupted JOD because the more I read that JOD, the more pissed off I'm getting. It's just like it's
Sure.
so one-sided. It's unbelievable. There's no justice in it.
Let me
So,
ask you, you would typically be getting Father's Day and your birthday.
I didn't. This Father's Day, they weren't with me.
but only in that is so long as he would have to go to California to do it, right? There, because here's the problem. You have a coast to coast interstate order, and that makes it very difficult for you and for her and for the kids. And the only outcome is going to be that one of you gets the kids primarily, and or one of you is forced to relocate to the other. And in my opinion, she shouldn't have been allowed to relocate. The kids never should have been sent to California. I would say, with the little bit that we know, it certainly doesn't sound like a justified outcome. The issue that you've got now is the order that you've got is what anybody on an interstate order on a coast to coast basis is generally going to experience. And I would say this: you could absolutely and should absolutely be looking at ways to open the door to more exposure, right? If you're in California with a certain set of notice, you get to go have a weekend with the kids. If it's once a month, if it's every other month, if it's any extended weekend, right? A Friday, Monday holiday. The Christmas holiday should be better broken up, to your point, right? In one year, you alternate X, and another year, you alternate Y, but it should be more equally split. Those are, at least on the surface, the first steps to going, hey, what it is wrong, while you try to undo the wrong, right? Because, I mean, I'm not sure you get to undo the wrong, but you certainly could correct what's wrong to some extent, right? Like this is the nuance in it, right? This is the challenge. But I agree. I mean, it shouldn't be where it's at, right? Based on the data that you've shared with us, based on the evaluator's report, based on the experience in the courtrooms, based on all of these things, it seems wrong.
Erroneous.
Yeah, it seems like it seems like the wrong outcome. Do you get to communicate with them? Is there a mobile communication? I'm assuming she doesn't comply with it, but
Yesterday, she didn't show me the kids. So what happened was she called while I was in the shower, about 40 minutes after the due time. And then when I got out of the shower, I returned the call, no answer. Didn't get to see the kids. So, and the good judge had it to where I get to see the kids in the morning for 5 minutes before they go to school, 10 minutes in the afternoon when they come out of school, and 15 minutes before they go to sleep.
So I'm assuming you're saying a video call, like a FaceTime?
Correct.
Okay. And is
So,
that in the order now?
no, and the order now is only one phone call at 7:30 p.m. at night for 15 minutes only.
And just,
And
FaceTime or a phone call?
FaceTime.
Does that happen every night?
No, I'm recording every single one of them.
okay, well,
Okay.
also, you're doing a good job. Keep documenting the
Oh,
things that
yeah.
aren't happening, right? Because at some point it can be considered contempt of court, but there's a level to that.
So who has jurisdiction on this case now? New Jersey or California?
New Jersey.
Wow.
I know that's
Okay.
interesting. I wondered that
That's
too. That was a
crazy.
question I had. What? So New Jersey
Everybody
has
has to.
jurisdiction and hasn't given jurisdiction to California. And so, one just quick question: when all this started, the children's home state was New Jersey.
Yeah. We have a lease on 425 Madison Ave in apartment 86, and then we have a lease together on 385 Oak Ave in Maywood, New Jersey,
Well, now it's interesting to say how long have the children been living in California?
since 2021 when she didn't decide not to return.
So now California is technically considered their home state,
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
jurisdiction still sits in New Jersey.
Correct.
Yeah. Wild.
Wild. 100%. Every attorney asked me the same question. Where are you going to court? In New Jersey. Jurisdictions is in New Jersey.
Okay.
I don't think that's gonna move anywhere because
Sure. Sure.
yeah.
And when you hired the bigwig originally to kind of take this up through the appellate system, where did they land with what do you do now, right? Did they say, hey, this is it? Like it's run its course. There's no recourse. And I'm asking this, let me just kind of frame that question because lots of people, man, woman, get railroaded by the system. And you get to a point where it's like, I can't undo what's been wrong in the past because kids grow and new routines and new status and new kind of status quo gets put into place. And so it's almost like you have to like turn the Titanic instead of trying to like rebuild the ship. Um, what did your last attorney say about where things are left? You're just kind of stuck with it, and now you have to go turn the Titanic, or you have to rebuild the ship.
Basically document everything that's happening.
Hmm.
And yeah, hopefully we could get the judge impeached.
Hmm.
The prosecutor's office called me in to see the video of the court clerk, but I I am not releasing it unless they tell me as to what they're gonna do with the video, not use it against me or something. You know what I mean? Because I don't know who to trust with it.
So that's a good question too, and I was going to ask you that. I don't know this, and I should. Is New Jersey a one-party or two-party state?
I think it's
Meaning,
two party state, or is it one party?
I think it's one party, if I
Might be one
remember,
party.
which means you can record people if they
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
know.
I could easily record people. Yeah, I know. I looked up that one. It's one party.
Okay.
Yeah, because they already tried saying that she told the judge that I'm recording everything it's doing to her attorney saying it's illegal. Looked it up. It's not illegal. I can record in the state of New Jersey.
I thought
One
so.
party consent state.
I thought
Now,
so.
here's the thing, though. California is a two-party state,
Hmm.
so be careful because there's some consideration around the fact that if home state for the kids is California, it's happening in California. Just make sure you're aware. I would probably run any of this stuff through an attorney,
Mm.
given their locale, right? Just because you're in New Jersey, you know, it, it's gray,
Yeah,
It
the
is.
right?
person you're recording is in a two-party state.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
even though the jurisdictions are in New Jersey still for the kids.
Yeah. So,
But there's
right from a case standpoint, totally right. Jersey has jurisdiction, but from a like an applicable law standpoint, they're in California. So just it's more one of those things that this is where, Nicole and I play a significant role in kind of giving that guidance. Like you don't want to expose yourself where, you're trying to protect yourself at the same time, right? It's like a double-edged sword. So um we probably want to have a separate conversation around how do you best protect against being exposed to that liability, but also making sure that you're properly documenting what's happening. And there are ways to do that effectively where, if calls aren't happening and it's the order, visits aren't happening, it's the order. That's really easy to kind of present. Contempt is one way. Reason to make modifications to custody is another way, right? You don't have to use contempt as your kind of hammer to go, hey, listen, these things apply to best interests, and these things apply to custody, to timeshare, to interference, to gatekeeping, to all the things that Jersey, Texas, California, Florida, New York care about when they make custody and timeshare rulings. So,
I also wonder, and this might be a little bit of a wild idea, but what would California do if they had jurisdiction? Because it is the home state.
well, they wouldn't want to let go of the kids and send them back to Jersey. That's one. Because to Kevork's point, it's all a financial gain, right? Child support starts to go through the California, child support system and all of those types of things. Do you have a spousal support? How long were you guys married?
From 2017 till 2021.
Okay, so 4 years. So do you still have spousal support, or is that
There
over?
was none.
Okay, all right. And I
It
assume you
wasn't
have a
even for the first 3 years of going to court with the good judge. He refused to put child support on me too.
sure,
They,
sure.
they kept on asking to put child support on me. He's like, absolutely not. Only if the kids are returned back to the state of New Jersey, then I'm gonna go ahead and submit for child support against him. If you keep keeping the kids 3,000 miles away from the father, there will be no child support on him. There was none. Even with the new judge, there was none until the payoff took place. Then all of a sudden, there's child support.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would say just as a bit of advice, take as much of your parenting time visitation as you can and get to California as much as possible, just
Well,
to make it look better in your case if you ever come to a position where you get to have a modification.
it's not cheap.
I
It's
know.
not easy to stay away from my work for that long. It is not close. I have to rent a car. I have to Airbnb a house or a hotel. Nothing in California is cheap. So staying away from work, and I'm not traveling by myself because the other two want to see the other two. You know what I mean? So if I leave, I'm leaving with four. Now you got four plane tickets there, four plane tickets back, a car to rent, at least a week of staying out there because it's really far. You're in it for like 10 grand plus away from your work, which doesn't really work when you have a sneaker store. You know what I mean? Customers want to come in. I don't like to be absent from my place. People who come to my store, they love to come and interact with me. So
mm,
it's just very uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I did it once. If she let me be with them nonstop for those 7 days, let's just say, right? Even though it was only for 3 days, I could be with them, and then if I could just still take them to school or pick them up from school, or like interact with them, maybe I would. You know what I mean? But
yeah. I mean, I would definitely be considering making, some request to change, right? Even if it's to the extent that it, to your point, if you're going to go out there for a week, you can have them for a week, right? So long as they get to maintain their routine, they go to school or whatever. And again, maybe it's every long weekend, or and there's actually a fair number of those in a year, right,
yeah,
on an interstate basis, right? There's
correct.
it ends up being almost one a month. I think it's like three or four at least, where you're getting a Friday or a Monday, or you get their school schedule. California has a ton of teacher days on a Friday and a Monday.
Early
Um,
release.
right, early release. But I totally understand what you're saying. That's an expensive proposition. At the very least, though, the issue I've got right now is the fact that she's out of compliance with things that, are pretty black and white, right? It's you've got an order to see them with notice. You give the notice, and then she withholds the kids. I don't know a courtroom that's going to be very excited about, a parent refusing to comply with an order.
Also, has she filed any motions?
No,
None.
No,
there's
she's living the dream.
yeah, she's
Oh,
living. I do have a Facebook request from her, her mother, her aunt. I think what they're trying to do is probably try to get us back together, but that would never happen. You know what I mean? Life goes on. That would never happen again. So
and she never filed a motion for relocation, not in this whole period of
nope,
time.
nope, and that's what blows people's mind. The verdict is, I think, something about burden or whatever it's called, supposed to be on
Burden of
her. So
proof.
why she's moving, and just the fact that she lives rent free in her mother's house and only works 15 hours to be the best interest of the children is mind blowing.
I mean, there are several factors that they do look at when you're doing, sometimes we call it a motion for relocation or a move away. That's more like Keegan's verbiage. But there's many factors that are taken into consideration. So it is surprising that there was not something like that filed.
No,
Yeah,
no,
because they have to have the grounds to, like, it's got to be before the court.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah. I mean,
it's
she
crazy.
didn't get remarried.
no.
She's, there's several different, a really great job, a new marriage.
She says she works 15 hours a week at a dentist office answering the phone calls to make like appointments, which there's a lot of them in New Jersey that would hire, which I looked up as well. And it's just the fact that my transcripts being missing. That's what's bothering me the most. The transcripts being gone, and Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a
So
mystery.
it is. Well, let's do this. Let's stay in touch, Kevork. We want to know, give us updates, shoot us emails. You have my phone number, shoot me a text. We want to know what transpires as things come up. Hopefully, you've got things in motion that will either disrupt the cart, turn the tides, unravel the entire thing. Obviously, I've got some secondary opinions that it would take offline, but we really appreciate you taking the time to share your story, answer our questions. Um, you know, Share this. We're happy. We will push this. We want to see this be better than it is for you. Um, I still am a little bit at loss that this is where things sit. Um, I do understand kind of the existing order in some capacity, right? If there's justification for it, it
Mhm.
doesn't sound like there is, but the circumstances in which you're living, assuming there's justification for it, is a pretty sensible order. Outside of that, it doesn't. It There's a lot of things that don't add up in my mind.
Well, exactly. And to speak to what you just said, Keegan, is if there had been a motion for relocation and it had been granted, then this sounds like a pretty fairly normal, parenting time, visitation, custody arrangement.
Yeah,
Yep.
there was none of that. Definitely thank you guys as well for having me on here. It was
Yeah.
just, it's just I believe it's gonna work out, but let's see. Time will tell, right?
Well, best of luck to you. Everybody like, listen, subscribe. Thank you again.
Thank
Yep.
you so much, Kevork. We really appreciate your story. We do hope things are getting better for you or work in a better position for you soon.
Thank you.
And yes, and everybody like, subscribe. Thank you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, thanks, guys.
Thank you.